D-Train. About a year ago, the PlayStation 5s dropped, and to this day, they're still pretty tough to come by, especially if you don't want to pay scalping prices, you know? If you want to get them for retail, those drops are still selling out. A year ago when I got mine, I didn't have any pre-orders and I wasn't going to pay scalping prices. I figured out a method that worked for me, and I wanted to share my experience and what I did, and I think that will really help whoever get one. So first and foremost, just to kind of get the mindset right, you can't wait for the drops to happen. You have to really be on top of the game. Like you're hunting these PlayStations, and you can't wait to hear about it later, because by the time you hear about it, if you weren't on top of it, it's for sure it's too late. So what you're really using Twitter for is to stay updated on the news and rumors, and you're casting a wide net, and you're looking through the comments to see where people are actually getting them from, and that's narrowing down where you should and should not spend your time. The first account I followed was Wario64. He updates you on live PS5 drops, on PS5 rumors, news, and all of that stuff, so that way you know like when these drops are going to happen, where they're happening, and when they're live. I also search PS5 restock, PS5 restock news, PS5 restock target. You have to really play around with the phrasings. It'll lead to like different search results, which would lead to different rumors and different accounts. You want to look at the comments to see which accounts are reliable sources of information. That's how I knew Wario64 was a reliable source, because a lot of people were tweeting and saying thank you to him because the information he was providing was actually leading to people getting PS5s. This brings me to an important point. You really want to search through the comments and see what people are saying, because you don't want to spend time in places where people aren't actually getting them. I never saw any tweets from anyone actually getting the PlayStations from Walmart. And that's because Walmart was a victim of, you know, the scalpers, the bots, and all of that. From using Twitter, I was able to find out that some retailers will only do local drops, which means that they won't put their PlayStations online for everyone to try and get. You have to actually physically be there present to purchase them. I've never used BrickSeek or OctoShop, but I've used PopFinder, and I always got mine from Targets because it just was a reliable source for me. I figured out that that's what worked for me. If you're gonna try to get local drops, I'd recommend you call your Targets, your GameStops, whatever store you decide you're gonna use, and ask them if they have any information on when they're going to get more. A lot of times they're going to tell you that they don't know, or that they're not going to, but sometimes you'll get that associate that will give you the details and the scoop. But what's really important here is that you ask them what time at night their shipments come in. After you know what time their shipment comes in, what they'll do after that, they'll scan it in or whatever, all their freight. As that retailer's system updates what they've scanned in, these apps will let you know what is at what store and how many they have. Target is what I used, and I would know that this Target has 6 PlayStations that they're gonna sell tomorrow. This Target has 10, and I would just basically go stand in line and I would wait all night. Now, an important thing here though is take everything that the retailers say to you with a grain of salt. The associates, they lie. Associates would walk out, ask why I'm here standing in line, and I tell them I'm here for a PlayStation, and they say, oh, we don't have any. And I'm telling you, that will really mess you up mentally. And then the next morning, I got a PlayStation. And just like some tips to kind of top it all off, I don't think it's a good idea to just use online retailers versus local. Online drops, I think it's more so about being on time and kind of getting lucky. But with the local drops, I knew that I was willing to outweight everybody, so I would show up the moment that the PlayStations popped up on PopFinder, and it worked several times for me. But I did see like other people were successful at getting some on like online retailers like PS Direct. It just never happened for me. And so for the retailers that I do think are worth looking into, it would be Target, GameStop, PS Direct. Every time like on Twitter, I would always see that people were actually getting them from there. But for my tips, I would say stay strong, because there were times that I was really close to getting one, and I didn't. And this is before I got my first one, and it's very discouraging. But I use that as like motivation of like, okay, I almost got one, so I can get one, you know. And then eventually it happened for me. D-Train, go get your PlayStations. I know, and when I say this, I'm not talking to you guys because I know you guys aren't complainers, but to everybody else, stop bitching